The Big Train, winners of their last 7, and they look to make it 8 bright and early at 10 a.m. against the DC Grays. There might be some water droplets, maybe some dew still condensing on the blades of grass, but still some nice fluffy clouds in the sky. It is an absolutely beautiful day for baseball. We welcome you inside the broadcast booth. My name is Quincy Bell. Alongside me, Jackson Corcoran. Jackson, the big train, almost gave the game away yesterday, but did end up winning 9-7 against the Giants. What do they need to keep doing to win their 8th straight today?
Well, first off, given how beautiful the day it is for baseball, one of probably your favorite players, Ernie Banks, one of my favorite
Let's
quotes,
play 2.
Let's play 2. And we're playing 2 today. And to keep the momentum rolling after that close call last night, we'll need this man, Russell Peterson, to pitch like he did last time. He took the rubber, 7 scoreless, probably the best outing of any Big Train pitcher this year. That was against the Southern Maryland Senators on June 29th. He's getting the start today. Just need him to keep filling up that zone, inducing soft contact, and picking up a K or 2.
Here is the lineup that he will face for the DC Grays. It'll be Ryan Sung, the league leader in stolen bases, leading off, followed by TJ Adenizio, Andy Rivera, Tanner Wolpert, Tyler Wiltsey, Luke Cauchi, Mark Quarry, Sam Mosman, and Aiden Ellis makes up the lineup for the visiting Grays. The lineup for the Big Train will go Peltier, Wright, Steele, Skaronski, Wesley, Panette, Martinez, Corbin, and Hawk. Most likely some new faces in game number 2. Sung into the box to lead things off for the Grays. Peterson out of the windup, and we're underway from Shirley Povich Field. First pitch, 86 miles an hour at the knees for strike 1.
Bright and early, 10:05, our first pitch, and it's a beauty from Russell Peterson. Need that all day.
Sung takes up in the zone for strike 2.
And when you're a command guy like Peterson, it's such a fine line between success and disaster. He ran afoul of that line in his first start against Gaithersburg.
Misses with a curveball in the dirt. A chase pitch that just yanked a little too outside to Sung.
He's facing a lineup that struggled this year, but this guy has not. A definite all-star, Ryan Sung. He's been excellent.
He pops one in the air high on the infield. Martinez and Corbin shielding the sun. It's Corbin who calls off the FAU owl and makes the catch for the first out.
This Grays team hasn't put it together at times on the offensive end. They can be tricky. They steal a ton of bases, lead the league in thefts at 85, but they don't hit for average, 230, and they have very little pop through this lineup. Just a 287 team slug, and half the extra base hits of the Big Train.
This is a very gritty team. They're the only team that the Big Train haven't beaten multiple times, albeit they've only played twice. Back on opening day, the Grays able to beat the Big Train in a thriller, 12-11 on the road. The Big Train returned the favor, winning 21-8. Those were both in the first week of the season. TJ Adenizio fouls off a pitch. Adenizio playing third base today. A 241 average, but a respectable 431 on base. A lot of these Grays hitters very high on bases despite some subpar averages.
They've found a way to win some games, but they've certainly found a way to lose some games as well. Sitting above 500, very well in the playoff chase, very well in the divisional chase, just a game back there, but they had a wild game last night. We'll get to that in just a moment.
2-1 from Russell Peterson, misses high to Adenizio. He's behind in the count, 3-1.
Took on the Southern Maryland Senators in a doubleheader, and game 2 of that doubleheader is one of the most interesting games you'll ever read about. 1-0 was the final score. There was one total hit in the game, and it was by the losing team.
3-1, Adenizio takes inside. He has a one-out walk for DC's first base runner of the game.
But you heard right. The DC Grays pitched a no-hitter last night and lost. 4 innings from Ty Morris without a hit, and then Andrew Ruggieri pitched 2 more hitless. But given that it was a 7-inning doubleheader game, that's all she wrote, and 1 unearned run scored in the third to allow the Sens to win despite being no-hit.
That is something you don't see too often. Andy Rivera steps to the plate. 8 RBIs on the year for him. A 261 hitter, very solid. The junior outfielder attends Holy Family, a native of Silver Spring, Maryland. Pick off to first, Adenizio back. But the South Division has been very condensed at the top. 3 teams all separated by 1 game. Off-speed pitch outside, fouled away by Rivera. He's behind 0-2, but the Southern Maryland Senators lead that division at 14-10. The Aces at 12-9, a half game back. And then the DC Grays at 12-10 are 1 game back. So all three of those teams likely to make the playoffs, but only one will get the bye and win the division. Swing and a miss by Rivera on the fastball from Peterson. 2 quick outs for him in his outing.
Peterson's fastball is plenty firm. That one in at 88 miles an hour, and you cannot locate a 2-strike fastball better. At the very top of the zone, and Rivera, a good bat, swings under it because that pitch is so well located and sequenced.
It'll be up to Tanner Wolpert to extend this inning. From the left-handed side, stands with his back foot on the back line of the batter's box. A lot of hitters like to stand there because it gives you just a few extra milliseconds to see the ball into the zone. Peterson set 1-0 on Wolpert. Kicks and fires. Check swing, but a called strike by our plate umpire.
At first blush, Wolpert appears an odd choice of cleanup hitter with just a .639 OPS, but had a very solid season at Franklin and Marshall with the Diplomats. Shout out to Andy Avillo, father of my good friend Dan, who was a second baseman there back in the day.
Pick off to first. Adenizio caught off the bag. Peterson faces the minimum as we head to the bottom of the first. We now send you to a recap of yesterday's game.
Big Train won at Shirley Povich Field last night, 9-7 over the Gaithersburg Giants, winning their 7th in a row and maintaining their first place lead in the North Division. Logan Panett had a 4-for-4 day at the plate, including opening up the scoring with this RBI double in the second.
Sitting with 22 RBIs on the year. Make it 23. He drives one down the line and fair. Gonzalez will come home. Panett is on his way to second. The ball's still in the corner. He'll get there standing up. Thinks about third, but will drop roots at second with a 1-out double. And the Big Train have the lead. It's 1-0.
Josh Skoronsky ripped his second triple and 9th extra base hit of the season to extend the Big Train lead to 3 on a 2-run knock.
That ball down if you want the double play.
2-2, Skoronsky drives one down the line, and this will get all the way to the wall. Wright will score. Gonzalez is on his horse. He's getting the windmill at third from Galvin Morris. Play will be at the plate. Throw home. Gonzalez is safe. The Big Train lead at 5-2.
Got a little sketchy late with the Giants scoring 5 runs in the 9th, but Tyler Brashear came on for the final out to close out yet another Big Train win.
3-1. Driven high in the air out towards right. Steele going back, settles under it, and makes the catch. The Big Train survive the scare. Brashear gets the save, the 5th straight game. The Big Train, their closer, has put together a save. 9-7 the final.
Big Train look to extend their win streak to 8. Now back to the action.
No runs at the top of the first for the DC Grays. It'll be up to Owen Basso to keep the Big Train at bay today. The junior right-hander out of Lafayette College sits with a 0-1 record and an 8.3 ERA. In 13 innings, he's allowed 12 earned runs, a 1.77 whip and a 255. Batting average against Alex Peltier into the box is a 360 batting average for himself, albeit in the midst of a little bit of a slump. He shows bunt, pops it up. Giving chase is the catcher Ellis, but it lands just out of play.
Basso, your classic sinker-slider guy, sort of mix that might put him in trouble with some of the big swinging lefties in this Big Train lineup, Wright, Skoronsky, and Parker Corbin, but showed a good changeup in warm-ups. If he has that pitch working today, it could go a long way towards neutralizing those 3 from the left side.
Only 3 lefties in the starting lineup for the Big Train today. No Emilio Gonzalez, no Brett Ott in game number 1. Most likely we'll see them in game 2. We'll see if Peltier's still bunting on 0-1. He checks the swing, but it's a full swing in the eyes of our plate umpire. Peltier down 0-2.
That's one thing you wish that Peltier could cut out of the game. He's second in the league in strikeouts with 22, because when he puts the ball in play, so dynamic, just struggles with the punch out from time to time.
That's really the only way hitters have been able to sit him down today. 0-2. Grounded slowly towards second. Couchy up with a sidearm throw in time to get Peltier.
Basso's had his struggles this year, but does right what he wants with Peltier in that at-bat, working in and out with that sinker and slider mix to the righties. Wants to bring the fastball into the hands, then break the slider off it to the outer part of the plate like he did there, and gets a little nubber to his sure-handed second baseman.
Here is Brennan Wright, and not to bring up the same point every game, but Brennan Wright has reached base in every single game he has played, and we're over halfway through the year. Takes the first pitch on the inner half for a strike. Had to wait till the 5th inning yesterday, but he was able to poke a single up the middle and then added 2 walks to his line. Reached base 3 times yesterday. 0-1 from Owen Basso. Just misses down and away.
You mentioned a lot, but I mean, it's an impressive feat because no one else in the league is really doing it like he is. Trent Adelman has a similar streak, but it's in 3 fewer games.
1-1. Wright shows a bunt, pulls it back. Pitch was taken outside.
A couple of the guys who have kept up a season-long on-base streak are not really everyday players like Brennan Wright is.
Brennan Wright has played the last 5 for the Big Train. 2-1, taken upstairs.
Serving as the designated hitter for the first time of his season today. He's been at second or short in each of his other appearances, but back in the 2-hole for the 19th time.
The fact that he's DHing makes it likely that he will move to second and play in the second game of today's doubleheader. 3-1, taken outside, and the streak stays alive.
It gets on bright and early. For such a contact hitter, you often see guys with that build who are over swingers. They're not necessarily looking to walk, but Brennan Wright is a very well-rounded approach to the plate. He's not just up there looking for singles, looking to slap the ball and play somewhere. He wants to put a good swing on a baseball, and he earns his 20th walk of the year.
In steps Peyton Steele. First pitch fouled back along the first base side. Steele just 1 hit yesterday, but still a productive hitter all throughout his time with the Big Train. Hits in his last 2 games. Kicking the fire from Basso. Blooped slowly towards right field. Coming in to make the catch is Rivera for the second out. In steps Josh Skoronsky, and you'll be hard-pressed to find a hotter hitter in the Cal Ripken League than Josh Skoronsky. 7 hits in his last 5 games, including 2 home runs and a triple yesterday. Cuts at the first pitch and lines one up the middle and through for a base hit. Brennan Wright will try to go first to third. Up with the ball is Wiltsey. Throw will be cut off by Sung. Throw to third, not in time. Wright is there. Skoronsky, a 2-out single, pushes him into scoring position for Matthew Wesley.
Gets a heater, center cut, is swinging all the way, pummels it 100 miles an hour straight up the gut. And this is why this guy is leading the league in home runs, tied for the league with Logan Panett. Also, Skoronsky sitting high on the slugging leaderboard at second with a 541 mark.
If Baseball Savant data was available for the Cal Ripken League, you would see Skoronsky in the 98th, 99th percentile, I think, of just exit velo. Because he just has such a hard swing and he barrels up more balls than he doesn't, and he just takes second there too.
He's an athlete. He's a toolsy player. steals the base there. That is his 5th of the year, and I agree with you. A lot of red circles on Skaronski's Baseball Savant page because this guy has a quick, violent swing, and when he connects, ball goes a long way.
I might have to talk to our director of analytics, Addiston Gordon, about getting that data because I'm very curious. That is one guy that we do want to interview at some point. He is definitely a character, and he does a lot of great work in the analytics department here. 0-1 the count on Matthew Wesley. 2 runners in scoring position for him. Looking to put the big train on the board first.
And this guy is your sneaky league leader in OPS with a brilliant last week. He went 500 in his last week of games with 5 extra base hits, including his first home run of the year. He's hitting now .350 on the campaign.
1-1. Taken outside. The big train, when scoring first, they're 10-2 on the year. And possibly more impressive when their opponent scores first. They're 8-4.
Yeah, they found a way, but if you're able to jump on top here with Peterson looking sharp in the early going, it's a good sign.
2-1. Fouled straight back into the net by Wesley. 2-2 the count.
Going to the slider there, down in the count. It's a good pitch by Basso on the outer part of the plate. Doesn't quite leave it down the middle. And it was sharp enough that even though it was a little up in the zone, didn't hang. And Wesley didn't have a great beat on it.
2-2. Owen Basso looking to work out of trouble in the first. Kicking the deal. Check swing, appeal to first, no swing, says our first base umpire.
That's a pitch where he's sort of tunneling 2 sliders off each other. He started that pitch where the last one finished, and it broke away, and it's a good take by Wesley to take the count to full.
Panette waits on deck. There is a base open for Basso if he wants to put Wesley on, and he will. He runs a fastball inside and hits Wesley in his elbow guard.
And I like the idea of the sequence there from Basso. I really do. Obviously, that last pitch nowhere near executed, but went 2 good sliders in a row after being down in the count. Got a called strike, or a foul ball, I should say, and then a near strike 3, and then tried to throw the fastball inside off of that slider, and then just lost command, missed it, and plunked Wesley to load it up for Mr. Panette.
These Grays, remember, back on opening day when Logan Panette hit a grand slam just fair down the left field line. Panette, 11 of his 25 RBIs this year have come with the bases loaded. He takes a slider, may have been a bit outside, but called a strike by our plate umpire.
And this man had a heck of a game last night, went 4 for 4, scored 2 runs, 3 RBI, and knocked a double.
0-1. Basso delivers. Slider misses away.
And you hope he's back to early season form. Last night he looked at just jumping on pitches, driving them to the left side. When Panette is pulling the ball with authority, that's when you know he's right, and that's what he did in yesterday's game.
1-1. Panette pops one foul down the first base line and over near the bounce house by the picnic pavilion.
Logan Panette, also a third baseman, puts me in mind of the Astros and former Cubs third baseman Isaac Paredes. Not the biggest guy, not the biggest metrics on his swings, but pulls the ball and finds gaps, picks up a lot of extra base hits.
The pull fly ball hitter is Panette. 1-2, high in the air out towards right. Rivera has a beat on it. The big train leave the bases loaded in the bottom of the first. We head to the second. No score yet from Shirley Povich. No score after one from Shirley Povich. 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Grays in the top half of the second. They went down 1, 2, 3 in the first, thanks to TJ Adenizio getting picked off to end the inning by Russell Peterson. First pitch from Peterson to Tanner Wolpert is a changeup at the knees. Wolpert a half swing, but that was going to be a called strike anyway.
It's a good pitch to start things off. Whenever you have a guy that off balance on the first pitch of the inning, you know you might be in for a good one.
0-1, backdoor slider, fouled straight back by Wolpert. Wolpert hitting .235 on the year with a .333 on base percentage. 2 RBIs. He has not gotten much playing time, but hitting in the cleanup spot in game 1 of today's doubleheader. 0-2, high in the air, deep down the line and left. Giving chase is Skaronski. It's just out of his reach. This ball will roll to the wall. Up to second is Wolpert. He will drop roots there with a leadoff double.
That has been Russell Peterson's trouble throughout the year. He dominates righties, holds them under 200 in terms of batting average, but lefties approaching 400 on the year against him. The mix of his just doesn't conduce itself as much to getting out lefties. Goes with a fastball outside there, and it's a good poke by Wolpert after a slow start to the season, hoping to heat up here in the second half.
Coming into this game, lefties hitting .391 against Peterson. The righties just .176, like you said. In steps a righty, Tanner Wiltsey, and there are 4 righties in a row now for Peterson to face. 0-1, Peterson fires, swing and a miss at a high fastball by Wiltsey, and he's quickly behind 0-2.
But if you go back to his dominant outing, I believe only one of the runners that reached against him hit from the right side. The rest were lefties in a lineup with just 3 lefties.
0-2 misses upstairs. And there are more right-handed hitters than there are left-handed hitters. So if Peterson can sort of calm his woes against the Southpaws, could be the start of a really good career. Grounded over to short, Martinez up with it, throws to first in time for the out. Matthew Wesley a little bit of a dance at first, but able to secure the putout. Moving up to third is Wolpert with just 1 away.
Wesley doing the tango over there at the first base bag, but he has been so versatile for this Big Train team. What a help it is to have a guy like that who can reliably play 3 positions. You could probably put him in right as well if you needed to, with Peyton Steele holding it down. Don't necessarily need him to move out there, but has played third, first, and left. The Big Train have put up runs no matter where he's played.
Pretty much the dictionary definition of a utility player. First pitch to Cauchy. Curveball downstairs that he waves at.
Only one other player on this team, Peyton Steele, has played both infield and outfield this year. And even that for just 1 game. Steele moved in to play first against the Braves in that 15-13 thriller.
Gonzalez, the everyday first baseman, also has the ability to play outfield, but with the high-powered and great outfielders the Big Train have, he's just not needed out there.
And with this deep lineup, Wesley's versatility does more than just fill gaps. It lets Sal Colangelo get him into the lineup in more ways than one, because you need his bat in there.
1-2 from Peterson, looped in the air. Martinez going back on it, makes the catch, not nearly deep enough to advance Wolpert from third. That's a big second out for Peterson.
6 batters faced so far by Russell Peterson. He's set down the righties with soft pop-up, strikeout, ground out, and soft pop-up. But to the lefties, it's been a walk and a ringing double.
Well, he has 2 more righties before the next lefty. Mark Quarry steps in, hitting a measly 186 so far on the year. Pretty quick when he does get on the base path. 7 for 8 on stolen bases, swings and misses for strike 1.
The breaking ball is looking like a disappearing pitch for Peterson right now, getting a lot of empty air swings from the guys he's throwing it to.
0-1. Misses outside. Jacob Hawk doing the catching today for Peterson. It'll most likely be Dylan Murphy in game number 2. J.J. Hand, the rising freshman at Old Dominion, the third string catcher, got his first start yesterday. Fastball taken just down and away by Quarry.
Hand was the man who caught Peterson's gem. Now Hawk looking to repeat the feat.
2-1. Foul tip straight into the glove of Hawk for strike 2.
Pitchers throwing to Hawk have a combined 5.78 ERA, 5.78 catcher's ERA for Hawk, but he does have a team high 4 caught stealings this year. Got a nice arm back there.
2-2. Looped in the air towards right. This ball will get down, and it gets past Steele as well. Moving up to second is Corey. Throw comes all the way through. He is safe. Scoring from third is Wolpert, and the Grays draw first blood. They lead at 1-0 in the second.
Great piece of hitting by the 7-hole guy for the DC Grays. Fastball outside off the plate from Peterson. He's patting his chest as he goes back to the mound, but he really shouldn't because it's a good pitch, but it's just a better swing from the DC left fielder. Goes out, pokes it with plenty of force, 92 off the bat as he's reaching over. Natural power in that bat, and just got the barrel out and drives in a run.
Some rare success for a right-handed hitter against Russell Peterson. Now another righty steps in. Sam Mosman has only appeared as a hitter in one game. He has one plate appearance on the year. He did draw a walk. A 1,000 on-base percentage for him.
This is a guy who's been a very good pitcher for the Grays, getting a short look in the lineup.
A big leadoff of second for Quarry. He's moving on the pitch. Lined into right. Steele slides and makes the catch to prevent a second run from scoring. But 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on as the Grays up early. Big Train loaded the bases in the first inning, but not able to push across the run. It's the Grays who score first. They lead at 1-0 in the bottom of the second. Martinez, Corbin, and Hawk due up against Owen Basso.
Don't fret just yet if you're the Big Train faithful. Big Train have shown an ability to come back in games and win them. 10 of the 18 Big Train wins this year have resulted from a deficit at some point. Over half of Bethesda's wins have featured a comeback of some degree.
Well, they trailed for just a half inning yesterday. They were down 2-1 after the top of the third against the Gaithersburg Giants.
So my math would make that 11 of 18.
1-0 the count on John Martinez. Basso fires. Popped up in the air on the right side of the infield. Wolpert and Couchy both calling for it. It's Couchy who calls off his first baseman, the second baseman with the better angle to make that catch.
And a pop like that, you're always going to see the second baseman take priority. There's a hierarchy on the infield for those who don't know, and guys have priority over each other. Shortstop has priority over everybody. If he calls it, he gets it. Second base has priority over first, who has priority over the pitcher. Pitcher lowest priority, you pretty much never want him catching the ball. In that situation, that's the second baseman's ball to lose.
It's a lot easier for a second baseman to come in at that ball on an angle than for a big first baseman to go straight back and have to backpedal.
Absolutely.
To make that catch. Here's Parker Corbin. Ahead in the count 1-0. 0 for 3 yesterday, but did push across 2 RBIs, one courtesy of a sac fly. That ball hits him on a bounce. The pitch, there's like a 55-foot breaking ball from Basso.
Or maybe it didn't hit. It looked like it did.
It looked like it.
He's still in the box, so I suppose it didn't.
Well, if the ball hits the ground and then hits you without hitting anything else, that is a hit by pitch. So apparently that did not happen to Corbin. He's ahead in the count 2-0, takes high and away. Now he's ahead 3-0.
Walked 18 times this year. That's a walk per appearance. Good numbers, and he's way ahead of the count here.
18 walks to only 11 strikeouts. Making 19 walks, he sees 4 straight balls.
Went 0 for yesterday, is now on a semi-skid of 0 for his last 7, but has now 5 walks in the span.
Walks can be the quickest way to derail an outing against the big train, a team that just hits the ball so well. You want to allow, you got to keep the free passes to a minimum.
And teams really haven't. There's good eyes up and down this lineup, which has led to the 3rd most walks drawn in the league, 151, nearly 7 per game.
Corbin with a hard lead at first, 0-1 to Jacob Hawk. Taken at the knees for strike 2.
It's been a couple days wait for Hawk to return to the lineup with the day off, and then J.J. Hand getting his first start. Went 0 for 1 with 2 walks against Silver Spring last time he took the field.
0-2. Grounded over to third. Cannot handle the tough hop at Inicio. You could probably rule that a hit or an error, but no matter how you slice it, there are 2 Maryland Terrapins on base for the top of the order.
It's a tough play for Adenizio there. Just a high chopper. Has to come around it if he wants any chance at making the play. Can't field on the backhand because he'd be a little off balance. So he has to chop the footwork to get around that baseball and then still pick it. Catches it on an in-between hop, eats him up, and it'll be ruled an E5.
Lineup flips over for Alex Peltier. And if walks can derail an outing, errors can really derail an outing. Corbin moving on the pitch, gets up to third. The ball scoots very far away from Ellis, but Corbin content to just stay at third.
Took off, though. That'll be a stolen base for Corbin, despite the pitch getting away. But the escaped baseball allows catcher Jacob Hawk to move up 90 feet.
That's just the 3rd stolen base for Corbin on the year. Not a guy who runs particularly well.
It's not ruled a stolen base, should be.
(1-0) from Owen Basso to Alex Peltier. Swing and a miss at a slider in the dirt. Corbin discussing with third base coach Galvin Morse. Pointed out to Basso maybe the big train had picked up a tendency of his, which was why Corbin was able to get to third so easily with such a great jump. 1-1. Peltier takes on the outer half for strike 2. And now the infield for the Grays, all 4 of them, are moving to the cut of the grass.
They know that got to keep the big train off the board for as long as possible, even though it's just the second. Also, given that this is a 7-inning game, a second inning run is crucial.
1-2. Peltier takes high. Yeah, with this being a 7-inning game, it's almost like being up 1-0 in the bottom of the 4th. With how many innings there are left to play. It's like you're starting the game from the 3rd inning.
Yeah.
1 out, 2 in scoring position for Alex Peltier. 2-2 the count. Basso kicks and delivers. Looped in the air towards right. Rivera coming in, makes the catch. Corbin's going to tag. The throw comes all the way to the plate. Corbin Safe! He gets around the tag. A beautiful dive. The Big Train have evened this game at 1.
It's a decent throw by Rivera, but drags Ellis up the line there, and it's a good effort by the catcher. Has to turn and tag because if that pitch is on line, or that throw I should say, it beats Corbin by a few steps, but since it's up the line, the throw and the runner arrive at the same time, and he whiffs on the tag. A good slide by Corbin ties up this game.
Galvin Morris, one of the more aggressive third base coaches in the league, I've noticed. If it's 50-50 on a shallow fly ball like that, he's sending the runner home more often than not.
I think it's a valid approach because a lot of these guys, as talented as they are, they're still college outfielders, which don't have the best track record with being able to complete a throw home, and then you have to depend on the catcher to make the tag as well, even if the throw's in time.
0-1. Right grounds on up the middle and through for a base hit. Hawk gets the windmill at third from Galvin Morris. Throw comes all the way to the plate, and another run scores due to some aggressive base running from the Big Train. Brennan Wright up to second on the throw.
And fired up as he gets there, as well you should be. Great piece, goes down to get it, drags it up the middle, and he's running all the way out of the box, turns hard, takes second on the throw. Another good send by Morris at the third base bag because it's a 50-50 play. A perfect throw gets Hawk, but a perfect throw is hard to make when you're coming up firing, and it's a little askew and no chance to get the catcher.
Outfield assists are not easy to come by. Peyton Steele will look to increase this crooked number the Big Train have put up in the second.
You see right there, despite going down early in this game, right away, the Big Train lead once again.
0-1. Taken just outside by Steele. I don't know if we have data for this, but I'd like to see the amount of runs the Big Train have scored in innings right after the other team has scored. I feel like every single time a team has had some runs for the Big Train, they've been coming with like a huge response. It seems like they don't sit behind for very long.
I absolutely agree with you, Quincy. The response of this team is so good. But you got to say, in this inning, the DC Grays certainly helped out the Big Train. A one-out walk to Parker Corbin, a guy below the Mendoza line, and then an error on a tricky hop, granted, to Adenizio, and that's allowed 2 unearned runs to score.
3-0. Steele swinging 3-0 and drives one high in the air out to left. Going back is Quarry. He's at the track, and he settles under to make the catch. Peyton Steele, a guy that likes to swing 3-0 more than anyone in the league, but just falls a few feet away from a home run. But the Big Train do get the lead for the first time today. It's 2-1 as we head to the third. Conceded a pair of doubles last inning, but his squad spots him 2 and returns the lead to the side of the men in green. Peterson facing 9, 1, and 2 this inning. Ellis, Sung, and Adenizio. The last hitter in the DC lineup leading things off here. It's Aiden Ellis, serving as the catcher today, wearing number 32. He's hitting just .063 on the season. Young catcher from Rutgers University, New Brunswick. Rutgers is one of those schools that has a lot of satellite schools in the state of New Jersey. Indiana University is that way as well. There's an IU Northwest, an IU Indy, an IU Fort Wayne. Actually, I don't think there's an IU Fort Wayne. I think there's an IU Southeast. There's a lot of them.
That pitch is just a bit low from Peterson to Mr. Ellis. Rutgers Newark, of course, the flagship of the whole organization. That 1-1 is in there for a strike to Ellis. Big Bender is outside. Ellis hitting from the left side as the sun dapples the Shirley Povich playing surface. One of the rare times you'll see the field in full sunlight. 2-2. Inside count is full.
That's one thing I do like about these 10 a.m. games is this, as much as night games are fun, the sun sets from behind the trees, and for the first 2-3 innings, the sun is coming straight towards the press box and to the fans behind home plate.
Chopper goes foul and to the hitter as well. It's a little off kilter so much that, given that you don't have the upward angle of the fans or us, it doesn't bother them quite as much, I don't think. But here, I think there's a little bit more of a problem for the pitcher right now, if there is one at all. 3-2 swing and a miss.
No problem. Even against the lefty, no problem.
Gets him with the fastball, shoots it by him at 87 miles an hour. Peterson has his second K of the day. Alongside Quincy Bell, I'm Jackson Corcoran. Gibson Hurt is doing a fantastic job, as always, manning the P's and Q's over in the producer's box. Here is Ryan Sung. Sliders in there for strike one, and Sung has absolutely been the standout on this DC roster, Quincy.
I would say for sure. I think he'll probably be starting the All-Star game for the South Division at shortstop. A very good defender over there. Has stolen 25 bases. Has only been caught 3 times. A 477 on base as well. He is really the guy that the Grays, when they get runs early in games, it's mostly because he's manufacturing them with his speed on the bases.
So a young guy just finished his freshman year at Washington University St. Louis, a Division III school. Very good Division III baseball program. A nationally relevant squad. And Sung was one of their go-to guys, played a whole lot of ball games for the Bears in my hometown. He waves and misses that 2-strike pitch, back-to-back punch-outs for Russell Peterson.
Yeah, it's very rare that you see Sung get fooled that badly.
Takes a good pitch, and Peterson's breaking ball is quick. Comes in at 81 miles an hour there, only about 6 or 7 miles per hour slower than his heater, which makes it tough to handle. TJ Adenizio sees one of those breaking balls, caught the zone on our TrackMan 3D zone, but our umpire didn't quite like it as much. With Adenizio standing somewhat close to the edge of the batter's box, looks a bit more inside. There's an off speed, and it's waved at again by Adenizio.
Adenizio, another guy with some really good on-base skills. 370 on base, 15 walks to just 13 strikeouts. Russell Peterson's going to have to earn his strikeouts today.
But he's up 1-2, looking to K the side. Done that a couple times this year. And Adenizio, a symptom of the problem that's faced the Grays, despite how good he is at getting on base, not picking up a whole lot of extra bases. 2-strike pitch. Slider low.
Yeah, the Grays sit dead last in the entire Cal Ripken League in slugging, but they are 4th in on base. And obviously first in stolen bases. It is very clear how they like to get their runs across.
The Richmond Spider, Adenizio, takes a ball high. The lefty outfielder from Henrico, Virginia, facing off against the Whitman Blue, Russell Peterson. coils and delivers. Swing and a miss. Tipped into the glove of Jacob Hawk. Striking out the side is Russell Peterson. An effective inning for the young right-hander, and he'll hand it back to the Big Train offense as they lead 2-1. And we'll hand it over to, I believe, myself, as we'll take a look at the Cal Ripken League standings. The Bethesda Big Train have steamrolled their way to the best record in the Cal Ripken League. They are at 18-6 on a 7-game heater. They have extended their advantage in the North Division up to 4 games over the only Crop Dusters and 4.5 over the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts, who have gone on a bit of a skid to drop to near 500 after providing the Big Train a scare for most of the year. Down in the South, a bit more of a morass down there. 14-10, the Southern Maryland Senators lead the thing in that division. The Aces and Grays right behind, each within a game, and the Giants and Braves still bringing up the rear, looking likely to be the 2 teams that missed the postseason this year. Fan of both the green and white and the black and orange, you're in luck, because tomorrow is Orioles night at Shirley Povich Field. The Oriole Bird will be making an appearance at the ballpark on July 7th. That's tomorrow, against the Alexandria Aces. Get your tickets at bigtrain.org/tickets. That's bigtrain.org/tickets.
The fandom in this area of Maryland is, I think, split pretty 50-50 in terms of people who are Orioles fans and people who are Nationals fans.
Swinging a drive by Josh Skaronski, heading towards the wall in left center field, but it'll settle right at the track into the glove of Corey.
I know our producer, Gibby Hurt, is very excited about the Orioles night. A big Orioles fan he is.
I believe the only O's fan in the media department. Got a good handful of Nationals fans in the booth right now. You've got a Cardinals fan here and a Cubs fan to my left.
Representing the Midwest.
Big series wraps up today in the Windy City.
And tied at 1-1. Cardinals in desperate need of a win to keep pace with the Cubs. They sit at, I believe, 3 games back.
Yeah, the rubber match tonight is the Sunday night game of the world on ESPN. I know I'll be watching, and I'm sure Quincy will too, as Fetty and Boyd face off. But now back to the game you actually want to watch. That's High from Basso. Didn't sign up for a rundown on the NL Central race.
There are some people watching that do care. My grandma never misses. My grandma never misses a Cubs game.
As you've told me, went home from a Phillies game with you, and she gave you a call, and you ran down the game with her. Talked about big home run from Michael Bush. You and her were both very excited about that big
3
swing.
home runs or 4 home runs in this series against the Cardinals?
There was an 8 home run game earlier, a franchise record for the most home runs allowed by the Cardinals in one game. They were swinging a hot bat against Miles Michaelis and co. Swinging a hot bat is Matt Wesley, but grounds it over to the left side where it's fielded by Adonisio, who delivers over to Wolpert to retire the second batter in a row.
Yeah, hit the ball pretty well there on a off-speed pitch down and in, but just chopped it a little too far into the ground for Wesley. Really a nicely located pitch from Basso, who, granted, despite the 2 runs, has looked solid. Neither one of those runs earned, only 2 hits allowed so far.
Basso has struggled with the walk at times this year, has walked a guy, hit a guy, and walked a guy, but when he's been in the zone, it's been tough to square up, and throws in the zone here, and Logan Panett just taps it foul.
A couple flyouts, 5 outs now via the flyout, so the Big Train have been putting a decent bat on the ball, but just not catching as many barrels.
Both of the hits in this game of the one base variety. That's low and away to Logan Panett. Flew out to right field in his first trip to the plate. Stranded the bases loaded with that swing. Looking to kickstart a 2-out rally here in the bottom of the third. Swing and a line drive into short left field over the head of the leaping shortstop Ryan Sung. And 2-out knock for Logan Panett.
Now that's a pitch that was hit pretty well, able to get over Sung, a guy who is a very good fielder in his own right, playing every single day at the shortstop spot. Only 2 errors.
Sung splits his time, I believe, between short and second, but stands at just 5'8". Plenty of athleticism packed into that frame, but not enough to get to that looping liner from Panett. Here's John Martinez.
I think that the big train have found something with Basso because Panett was looking to steal before he was even coming set. And Corbin easily just walked over to third back in the last half inning. I'd imagine they have something on him.
I'd agree with you there. I mean, with the amount of coaching staff this team has and alert guys in the dugout, they can pick up on cues, and that allows you to snag a few free bases. But I'm with you, Quincy. I think that's a good shout by you. As Martinez looks to keep the inning going. Another big lead by Panett. Just timed it a bit wrong as that's flown into center field, hangs up in the air. And Wiltsey makes the grab to conclude the third. 1 hit, but it's left on. The big train still lead 2-1. 3 innings through this game. Russell Peterson continues motoring along here at Shirley Povich Field on this lovely Sunday afternoon, a Chamber of Commerce day for baseball. He's through 3 innings so far, but Quincy, we know this guy can go deep into a ball game.
Yeah, he has the longest outing out of any big train pitcher this year with 7 shutout innings against the Southern Maryland Senators, a division-leading Southern Maryland Senators.
One of only 2 pitchers this year to throw over 90 pitches in a single outing. The other is Connor Lehman just the other day in Olney. Faces Andy Rivera here. He struck him out the first time they tussled and fouls away the first pitch into the parking lot.
Yeah, and Lehman was very solid in his outing against the Crop Dusters, but he only got through 5 1/3 innings with the 90 pitches.
Peterson is a strike thrower, and make no mistake, he walked Adenizio in the first, but hasn't lost a guy to a base on ball since, but gives up a single here to the 3-hole hitter Rivera, leading off the 4th inning.
Good piece of hitting there by Rivera. Peterson left the sinker just a little bit too high, middle, and Rivera 92 off the bat, just straight up the middle. And that is how the DC Grays love to get their hits.
Brings up the cleanup hitter Tanner Wolpert. Wears his gray pants bloused at the knees, 1 batting glove on, the other off on his wood bat. Has a sliding bat poking out of the back pocket and jumps away from an inside fastball.
I remember when Marcus Semien was sliding back into a base and First baseman went to go get the tag down, and it hit a pair of batting gloves he had in his back pocket, and they called him out. So I wonder why anyone ever keeps a mitt in their back pocket, with that being a possibility.
You're going to need it eventually. And
but you could get it from the dugout.
Well, I don't think people want to jog over to the dugout or their first base coach every time they knock a double. Wolpert trying to knock a double there, swings over the fastball, and it's 1-1.
And that was a hard swing for the cleanup hitter, who already has a double today, scored the only run so far for the Grays.
Knocked a couple home runs for the Franklin Marshall Diplomats this year. Pickoff over at first base, not in time. The tag from the right-handed first baseman, Matt Wesley. Bit of a different look for pitchers used to tossing over to the southpaw Gonzalez.
We need to make sure Eliav is aware of the Diplomats as a mascot.
Pitch is outside. There's a few good D3 monikers that you can go through. One of the teams in my conference is called the Cobbers. Yes, like the corn. Their mascot's a big, angry ear of corn. Concordia Moorhead is the school. 2-1. Swinging a liner into left center field. Moving over is Josh Skoronsky, one down. Fortunately, my team is the Knights. Pretty stock standard, the Carleton Knights.
It's not one of the 30 teams named the Wildcats, so
It's true.
it's a little unique.
But there have been a handful of games that we've played as that pitch is in there where it's the Knights versus the Knights. And that, when I'm writing recaps for those games, makes it a bit tough to, you have to really move around some verbiage to make it legible.
Yeah, there was a team in our football conference that was also named the Indians.
Swinging a line drive deep left field. Skoronsky, all he can do is look up and wave goodbye. It's 3-2 DC. Tyler Wiltsey goes yard.
Just a pretty poor located pitch from Peterson, and you mentioned with a guy that is a pitch that doesn't have a lot of velocity, you're towing a fine line between a great outing and disaster. Well, that time, just a middle pitch, and Wiltsey hammers it 99 miles an hour off the bat, just straight over the left field wall.
Goes 370 feet before it lands, and Luke Cauchy steps up to try and keep the thing going for the visitors, who now lead for the second time today. Peterson, a bounce back pitch, gets Cauchy swinging for strike one.
Yeah, the Grays do not hit a lot of home runs either. In fact, that was just their second home run on the entire year.
Line drive over the glove of a leaping Logan Panett, third hit in the inning for DC. And it brings up the first man to pick up an RBI in this game, Mark Quarry.
And with teams that are basically just chock full of non-contact hitters like the Grays are, it's innings like this more than ever where you feel like hitting can be contagious. That's something that people always preach about, but I think especially for guys that go up there and just seek contact.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I mean, they're feeling themselves. They think they have a better look at Peterson the second time through the lineup. Quarry first pitch swing gets jammed and fouls it away. The first homer of the year for the Grays was from Noel Rivera, and now the second from Tyler Wiltsey.
Yeah, these teams are just polar opposites in the hitting department. The Big Train, 12 home runs on the year through their first 24 games.
Pickoff over at first base, not in time, but the strong arm and active pickoff moves of the strong arm of Jacob Hawk and the active pickoff moves of Russell Peterson have kept Grays runners anchored to first. No stolen bases yet in this game. Fly ball left center. Alex Peltier scuttles over and makes the catch at the track.
And that's a tough catch to make, like we've been talking about with this being a 10 a.m. start. The sun is behind home plate right now. If you saw, Peltier had to put his glove up to shield the sun, and he was pretty late into his run. He was almost at the ball, so a great job to locate that one and make the catch.
Alex Peltier, there's another guy I'd like to see baseball savant type statistics on. Unfortunately, in this league, there's not too many defensive metrics that we can take a look at, but you got to think that Alex Peltier, the way he passes the eye test, he'd measure out very well. Line drive left field, that's a knock. Josh Skoronsky picks it up, gets it in, and holds Luke Cauchy to second base. Sam Mosman picks up the hit after being robbed in the second by Peyton Steele.
And Mosman, that's his first hit on the year after being a pitcher most of his time with the Grays, DHing today, but had just one walk and one plate appearance coming into this game. Now he has a line drive single.
3 very good appearances on the mound, including I believe a pair of saves. Aiden Ellis takes a strike right down Broadway, and it's 0-1.
You'd really like to see Peterson get Ellis out. The catcher only hitting .063 on the year. You don't want this lineup to flip to the top for Sung.
That's low, and it's smothered there by Jacob Hawk, but Sung just 6 RBI on the season, and I think that speaks to an inability of the Grays to turn the lineup back over to him, he's been at the top pretty much the entire year. 7, 8, 9 guys aren't getting on in front of Sung to allow him to drive guys in, because this is a guy who's hitting well over 300. Ellis, pitch inches outside, maybe centimeters.
But the position they would be putting Sung in would be any way he gets on base, he'd get an RBI, and he has a .477 on base this year.
Peterson, curveball in there for a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 4th as the Whitman right-hander looks to limit the damage. The 69th pitch for Peterson is a foul ball to the screen.
And with this being only a 7-inning game, the Big Train will only have 3 more innings to play after this one. So this might be, with the pitch count getting a little bit up there, this might be the last we see of Peterson if he's able to get out of this inning.
There's languid activity in the Big Train bullpen, some weighted balls being thrown, some stretching being done. That pitch is high and away, count is full.
And the runners will be on the move, and you know that the Grays love that. Although the 2 guys on base not very fast. Cauchy on second, no stolen bases on the year, but he'll get a head start.
The 3-2. Ball 4, bases loaded for Ryan Sung, a position that Peterson did not want to find himself in. He has to deal with it nonetheless, trying to keep this a 1-run baseball game.
And Sung will chat with his third base coach, but this is a big at-bat in this game for Peterson. Sung, a guy that just craves being on base. And this is a perfect spot for a guy like that.
Jacob Hawk offers Peterson some words of wisdom, encouragement, and perhaps an approach to deal with Ryan Sung. And heading out is Coach Craig Lopez to add his words to the mix.
I think the key in this at-bat is going to be you have to obviously you have to attack Sung with the bases being loaded. You have nowhere to put him, but this is not a guy who's going to kill you with power. Yes, he has some really good on-base skills, but you're going to have to make him earn his hit. You can't give him a free pass here. On the year, Sung only has 2 extra base hits, 1 double and 1 triple, so you're not really worried about him powering one to the gap and scoring all of these runs. The primary goal is just to keep him off base, and if you attack him with strikes and he pokes a single somewhere, so be it.
This is a guy who had attack with fastballs up in the zone, your best hitter against his best swing. Hope he repeats what he did in the first and pop up, and he does. Pop up on the infield right over the second base bag, the sun in the eyes of Parker Corbin, and he drops it. That's going to score 2 runs. An error at second base by Parker Corbin on the pop up, and it's now 5-2 DC.
That is a play that is a lot harder than it looks. The sun straight in the eyes of Corbin. A little bit of a breeze today, so that ball probably not coming straight down to him, but not the way you want the inning to continue if you're the big train.
And that's an out you need, though. I mean, inducing the soft pop is Russell Peterson. He has to be frustrated. Misses low to TJ Adenizio here. The inning continues. Russell Peterson now up to 72 tosses on the day.
And the Grays now have batted around with Adenizio coming up, but you cannot let this inning spiral. There goes Sung. No surprise there.
But moving off third was Ellis. He was trying to sneak home on that play, and they catch him in the act. Jacob Hawk, smart play there. Pump faked and caught Ellis leaning, so they retire him with a caught stealing, and that ends the inning. 4 runs, 2 of them earned. Wiltsey a home run, and a dropped pop-up gives the DC Grays the lead halfway through this baseball game. Bethesda Big Train have lost their brief hold on the lead in this game and will look to get it right back here in the bottom of the 4th against Owen Basso, the bottom of the lineup, which has the 2 runs in this game for Bethesda. Leading off here, Corbin walked and scored. Jacob Hawk on deck, reached on an error, and touched home plate.
And Corbin looking for some redemption after dropping an infield pop-up in the bottom, or in the top half of this inning, which netted 2 runs for the Grays. You'd love nothing more than a big hit.
Squares to bunt, fouls it back. That's the slump breaker bunt from Parker Corbin, 0 for his last 3 games. Trying to turn it around here, squaring, fouls it away. Corbin pats the bat on his shoulder and takes the ball way up and outside. Corbin has 2 home runs on the year, both pulled to right field, one of them against the DC Grays back on June the 9th, a 3-run shot. Takes a well-located changeup for strike 2.
And that home run really broke open a big inning in that game for the Big Train. They were down 3-1 in that inning, but that 3-run home run helped push across 7 runs, and the Big Train never looked back in that game.
Corbin watches a breaking ball dip in and out of the zone. We're all square in the count. It's 2-2. Basso brings it home, and at the eyes of Corbin and in the other batter's box, not the pitch he wanted in the 2-2 count. And you often see after a pitch like that, whether it's the actual cause or not, a pitcher will violently go to the mound and fix their landing spot. It had to be where I landed. That's why that happened. Might have been. You never know. 3-2. Fouled away by Corbin off the end of the bat.
And was showing bunt to start this at bat. Now with the 2 strikes swinging away.
Battling in a full count as Basso looks for his first strikeout of the afternoon. Coburn looks for his second walk or his first base hit. Second walk it is. Ball 4. Owen Basso, his third free pass of the morning, I suppose. You never really say that on a baseball broadcast.
Yeah, not too many games starting at 10 a.m. Of course, the Nationals 2 days ago on the 4th of July played their 11 a.m. game against the Red Sox. Myself, Gibby Hurt, the producer, and Caroline, our graphic designer, had a lot of fun. We were at that game.
Nationals Park, a pretty cool place to watch a baseball game. Pales in comparison to Shirley Povich Field, of course.
Shirley Povich Field is a very nice place to watch a game. And while it might only seat 700 to the Washington Nationals over 40,000, every seat is a great spot to watch the game.
Absolutely. As I learned last night, for the first time getting to sit and watch a game, we talked about that on that broadcast, with Harrison and Abby joining Quincy for 2 innings, and then Greg Marsoff, father of Max Marsoff, an excellent relief pitcher for the Big Train, who the Relief Pitcher of the Year award has just been named. I sat out in the stands and watched an excellent baseball game.
Yeah, Greg and I were talking that you can pretty much put a bow on that award for Owen Stewart right now.
Absolutely. I mean, barring a complete and total collapse, which the way he's pitched seems wholly unlikely, Stewart has just been absolute nails for this team. Jacob Hawk has helped him out behind the plate at times, looking to help the Big Train out on the other side. Flies it into right center field, tailing away from the center fielder. That is going to be caught on the run by Tyler Wiltsey. A good 4th inning for that young man. Homers and makes a running grab to deny Jacob Hawk extra bases.
Yeah, that looked like it was going to be just a straightaway fly ball to center field, and then it just kept tailing and tailing and tailing towards the right center gap, but Wiltsey able to run it down and make a pretty nice catch.
And Alex Peltier 0 for 1 with a sac fly RBI. He's got Parker Corbin at first. Wonder if this is a spot where you see him square for a hit.
Could be. Third baseman playing very far back. I mean, Adenizio is well behind the third base bag over there. Not crazy deep, but definitely deep enough for Peltier to think about laying one down the third base line.
And he's plenty good at it. We've seen him do it upwards of 5 times this year. First pitch from Basso. He does, and he pulls it back. It's bounced, and that's almost a tough break for Peltier because now Adenizio able to move in on the grass.
Yeah, now you've shown your hand, and you see Adenizio moving all the way up. I'd imagine he's swinging away now, but when you pull the third baseman in, it just gives you that much more room to punch one through the left side.
Peltier would have been swinging away, didn't square around, and takes a strike just above the zone. Gets the call. Does Basso. Basso having a pretty serviceable outing today. Will be even more serviceable if he's able to finish this 4th inning cleanly, hold on to his team's lead.
Yeah, hard to find very many complaints for him today. Maybe a few too many walks, but still no earned runs allowed.
In the dirt, blocked by Ellis. Staying put at first base is Parker Corbin. Corbin chewing on his thumb guard out there at first base as he looks at the feet of Basso, deciding whether to dive back in or maybe get a jump towards second. Kick the delivery. Strike 2.
Yeah, Peltier is a guy that you don't really want. I know he's fast, but you don't really want to miss up in the zone to him. I feel like most of his swing and misses have been on pitches below the zone, and a lot of his base hits have been slapping things up the middle that have been up in the zone.
2-2 pickoff. Corbin's back in safely. Dusts off the dirt from his hands. Fiddles with his helmet, steps out a step or two away from Wolpert at first. Peltier ready for the 2-2 pitch. It's a ball outside. They try to go to the exact pitch you said, Quincy, but a little too much of a miss to draw the eye.
Yeah, just a little too much break down and away from Basso, but that is where you want to go. But now is a spot where you might be able to parlay that down and away curveball or slider and elevate a fastball.
The payoff to Alex Peltier instead of pickoff to first base again.
Yeah, I think Basso knows that the big train have found something on him, so now he's really trying to keep runners on his Corbin. Not a very fast runner at all. Only 2 stolen bases on the year, 3 if you count the one he had today, but that was because he had such a great jump.
He stays put here, and that's grounded foul by Alex Peltier. Got it off the end of the bat and sends it into the tarp down the third base line, which unfortunately may have to see some use again this week. There's rain in the forecast.
Yeah, hopefully it stays away. But on that last pitch, Basso content to just go back to the slider away. If Peltier's going to beat him, it's going to probably have to be on that pitch. I'd imagine he goes back to it here.
Another 3-2. Swinging a looper into center field. 2 steps back, 2 steps in, and Tyler Wiltsey makes his second catch in a row.
And that time we tried to jam the fastball on the down and in corner, and very well located. That's a pitch where Peltier, even though he made contact with it, that's just a pitch where you're not going to be able to do much if you put the bat on it. Just a very good full count pitch from Owen Basso.
It was a pitched battle between Basso and Peltier that at bat, and Basso able to win it. And now he has to face Brennan Wright with Corbin still at first base. Wright, a walk and a single. That single brought in a run, and he's swinging at the first pitch, and he fouls it back.
And this is the perfect guy for the big train. Like we mentioned, 23 straight games on base for Brendan Wright. If he could put one through here or draw a walk, Steele and Skaronski could come up as the tying run.
He'll line it towards Sung, and he makes the catch at the brim of his cap to retire the Bethesda Big Train in the 4th. Solid outing for Owen Basso. Holds on to the lead for DC. It's 5-2 after 4. Book is closed on Russell Peterson here at Shirley Povich Field alongside Quincy Bell. I'm Jackson Corcoran. Gibson Hurt is dotting the I's and crossing the T's in the producer's booth, but Peterson was working solid through 3, then had a tough 4th inning.
Yeah, gave up the 2-run home run to Tyler Wiltsey, and then Parker Corbin dropping a fly ball on the infield allowed 2 more runs to score. So 5 runs allowed by Peterson, only 3 of them earned, 4 strikeouts. Not a terrible outing, but won't exit in line for a win.
Cole Ketchum entering the game now. It's his 6th appearance of the year, facing TJ Adenizio to start things off, who hits a soft fly ball towards left. Josh Skaronski is on the spot and retires the first batter faced by the Ole Miss product.
And there's one key for Cole Ketchum in this relief outing, and it's avoid the walks, because he has electric stuff. In 7 1/3 innings pitched, he's struck out 11 batters, but has walked 10. That's in the outings where he's gotten into trouble. It's because he's walked 3 or 4 hitters. And the Grays are a team that will eat you alive if you give them free passes. So just trust your stuff to make sure the ball's in the zone.
2 pitches, 2 strikes, 2 swings. Rivera fouls this first pitch off, but Cole Ketchum has allowed just 3 hits on the year through 7 2/3. Opponents hitting just .084 against him. He's got a 3.60 ERA coming in and picked up his first save of the year in his last outing, throwing just 3 pitches in the process. Swing and a miss by Rivera at 90 miles an hour, but one of the wildest saves you'll ever see from the right-hander.
Yeah, he came in with the bases loaded, 2 outs, up by 1, probably the highest leverage situation you can be in, and threw a pitch to the backstop, but Dylan Murphy retrieved the ball, flipped it to him, and they tagged out the Silver Spring runner, who hesitated mightily coming home from third.
Close stance windup of Cole Ketchum works exclusively from the stretch. And fastball inside comes in at 91. Ketchum, after getting out of Adenizio, has retired the first man he's faced 5 of the 6 times that he's entered a ball game. Now gotta get the second and hopefully the third. Little soft liner towards Martinez, picks on the hop, throws on the run, stretched by Wesley. He's safe at first base. That ball just hung up in the air, and Martinez, I think, thought it might come out to him at shortstop. Ended up having to come in and pick it. And good speed by Rivera to hustle it out down the line.
Yeah, Rivera's a guy that runs very well. The outfielder, 13 for 14 on stolen bases this year. He has the speed and might be liable to try to take a base here.
The infield single is his 2nd of the day, 4th allowed by Cole Ketchum on the season. He comes set against Tanner Wolpert. A double and a fly out for the Grays first baseman.
And the Grays, like we've been talking about, are not a team that hits very many extra base hits, but already 2 doubles and a home run today to go with 7 total hits.
Wolpert takes outside from Ketchum. Fastball heavy diet for the Grays lineup so far. Rivera looks like he might go, holds on here as that pitch is fouled away. But Rivera has an interesting stance as he takes his lead, really opens up, has that lead foot canted out towards Peyton Steele out in right field, and the trail foot is ready to go. Pick off towards the first base bag, and Rivera undoes that stance and lands on the first base bag.
Yeah, Wesley was standing off of the first base bag. It almost looked like he was going to be in the way of Rivera when he was diving back, but he's just in front of the base.
That's how they advise righties to stand when they're manning first. Pitch to Wolpert. Fouled back once again.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. You don't see too many, when you get to higher levels of baseball, you don't see too many right-handed first basemen.
It's just easier to play first as a lefty. Get a little extra stretch. It's easier to set up for picks at first. Your throws to the rest of the infield, your arm is already facing that way. A righty can certainly play first. It's not like a lefty playing, say, short, but certainly a bit harder than the southpaws. Inside counts full.
Yeah, and Aiden Ellis, the catcher for the DC Grays, who was listed on the Cal Ripken website as a left-handed throwing catcher. And I said, I don't think I've ever seen that past middle school. but we looked at him warming up. He hits lefty, but does throw right-handed.
Misprint there. Got excited for a moment.
I was excited.
The 3-2 to Wolpert. Ground ball through the right side. Busting it to second base is Rivera. He rounds and he's held there with the laser arm of Peyton Steele threatening. So it's now first and second for Tyler Wiltsey.
Yeah, wise move for Rivera to stay at second. You know the Grays love to take extra bases where they can get it, but Peyton Steele has a rocket launcher attached to his right arm, and that throw would have had Rivera toast at third.
Tyler Wiltsey looking to continue his excellent day. Has the second home run of the Grays season, the first of his year. Stands on the right side facing Cole Ketchum, way late on that first pitch.
Yeah, the home run he hit was a 80-mile-an-hour sinker from Peterson that just was left way too middle. Ketchum, even if he leaves something middle, you'd think it'd be a little faster for Wiltsey to get around on.
Heading into his sophomore year from Audubon, New Jersey, Wiltsey fouls it back. I wonder if Wiltsey's fond of birds.
I was just about to say, isn't Audubon, like, don't they make the books about
Yeah, they make the bird
all the
books.
different types of birds? I do like birds. I think they're very cool.
I'm particularly fond of the northern red cardinal. The 0-2. Goes bird watching here, or ball watching rather, and takes up and in.
I was riding a rented Capital bicycle around D.C. seeing all the monuments, and a blue jay dive bombed out of a tree and almost put his talons into my head.
Blue jays are mean, that's what they say. Cardinals, on the other hand, perfectly lovely creatures. The 1-2. High pop fly behind home plate, heading towards the big train dugout. Logan Panette makes the call, backpedals into the catch, and makes it.
Not a great look if you're Wiltsey to pop out in foul territory with 2 runners on and 1 out. Ketchum elevated the fastball, just couldn't get around on it. Maybe dropped the shoulder a little bit too far under that one. An easy catch for Panette in foul territory. That was always, for me, I thought the most frustrating way to get out. Like, if you strike out, okay, pitcher had some good stuff. Or, oh, I looked at this pitch. I was always so frustrated when I popped out in foul territory.
It's usually is a mistake of the pitcher. Good pitch by Ketchum, up and in, handcuffed him, but as you say, it's one of the more frustrating outs you can make. That's swung on and foul tipped by Luke Cauchy, but that's why a lot of the best hitters in the league are so good at avoiding it. You look at Joey Votto. Joey Votto did not foul out to the first baseman until, I believe, the 15th year of his career. The number might not be exactly right, but it's something nearly as impressive.
And that was when he was a grizzled vet, decently past his prime. Just a guy with some superb on-base skills. I'm sure the Grays take a lot of inspiration from him.
Fastball away to Cauchy. He's at the Keystone today, playing second base from Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. I didn't say that right. Apologies to all the Conshohockians.
That you probably definitely didn't say.
Conshohockenians. That one, yeah. That's well presented by Jacob Hawk. Absolutely steals a strike there. That's a couple inches outside, but the catcher beats the ball to the spot and just tugs it back into the zone. Such an important part of catching nowadays, being able to steal a strike. So valuable if you can do it consistently. Ketchum winds and unwinds. Up and in, taking off towards third base. Rivera, the shoot from Hawk in plenty of time. His 5th caught stealing of the year. Jacob Hawk retires Andy Rivera and ends the inning. Cole Ketchum puts up a 0, a goose egg in the top of the 5th. Hopefully a lot of goose eggs thrown, or actually not a lot of goose eggs, a lot of excitement coming in the Cal Ripken League All-Star Game. That's coming up very soon here at Shirley Povich Field.
Make sure to join us here on July 9th for the Cal Ripken League All-Star Game. The league's best players will be on display in a star-studded affair.
Tim Kirkchin will be in attendance, so make sure to get your tickets before they sell out.
It'll be the North Division versus the South Division, and you can get your tickets at bigtrain.org/tickets. That's bigtrain.org/tickets.
Grays lead 5-2 in the bottom half of the fifth. However, they've ended 3 innings on the base pass. TJ Adenizio picked off in the first to end the inning. Aiden Ellis caught trying to steal home in the 4th inning. And then Andy Rivera caught trying to steal third to end the 5th inning.
A large part of the reason why the Grays have still been able to lead this game is the man who just exited it. Owen Basso went 4 very solid innings, did not allow an earned run, scattered just 3 hits. 2 unearned tallies came across on his watch, but he stranded 6 big train runners. And coming into the game now is Alex Bergen, man from nearby Potomac, Maryland, induces a lazy pop from Peyton Steele starting off his morning. And there's 1 away.
Getting back to Basso, you don't see many pitchers nowadays that are that effective with no strikeouts in their outing.
But a good job done by Basso, and he hands it off to a man who's been quite effective for this Grays team. Bergen, in 9 1/3 innings, has a 2.89 ERA, has struck out 11 and allowed just a 182 batting average against.
And the Grays need every win they can get down the stretch pretty safely in the playoff hunt. They're 6 games ahead of the Metro SoCo Braves for being in the playoffs, but they're only 1 game out of the division lead. And in this playoff format, you're going to want to avoid that 1-game wild card at all costs.
Absolutely. Winning the division, the 2 teams that win the North and the South respectively have such a leg up on the rest. And Bergen can help his team inch closer to that South Division title. As you mentioned, they're a game back of Southern Maryland. Southern Maryland today takes on the Gaithersburg Giants, which is a good chance to extend their division lead. So the Grays would like to win 1 or 2 here at Shirley Povich.
And the Aces have a doubleheader against the Thunderbolts. That's a tough team to beat as well. Thunderbolts trying to keep pace with the Big Train. So if the Grays could pick off one of these 2 against the Big Train, or potentially both, and the Aces struggle in Silver Spring, they could move into sole possession in a second. The Aces have split the Senators and Grays. They sit a half game back.
Josh Skoronsky draws the 4-pitch walk against Bergen, allowing Matt Wesley to come to the plate. Skoronsky takes off towards second. A late throw is not in time. Not the best jump by Skoronsky, but makes up for it with that 6'5" frame of his, carving away the feet down that first base line, second base line, I should say. and puts him in scoring position for Wesley. Wesley line drive center field, well struck, sending back the center fielder Wiltsey. He makes the catch, tagging and heading to third is Skaronski, 2 away in the bottom of the 5th.
That ball pieced up by Wesley. That was down and in, almost a perfect spot on the corner, but got the barrel around, hit that ball 100 miles an hour, but an unlucky result right at the center fielder Wiltsey. But it's very impressive to square up a pitch that down and in. If you go back and look at that, that was just a pinpoint pitch from Alex Bergen.
Wesley larrups it into center, but no help for the big train. They appeal over at second base that Josh Skaronski left early, nothing doing.
I thought he got a pretty clean jump off of second. And it was a good time to try to take third because Wiltsey was backpedaling when he made the catch. Not easy to get a throw around when you're moving backwards.
Good base running by Skaronski to turn a one-out walk into a berth at third base. Here's Logan Panett, lines it through the left side. RBI single for Logan Panett, brings home Skaronski, and it's now 5-3. DC still leads.
That's now 26 RBIs on the year for Panett. He's almost doing a victory lap in his league-leading total in RBIs.
The top 5 RBI getters in the Cal Ripken League are all Bethesda Big Train.
Well, they have the most runs in the league by a wide margin. You were telling me how they have as much of a gap to second place as second place does to last place.
I believe I miscalculated second place to 7th place, but still 57 more runs than any other team in the league. And like Quincy said, that gap to second is as large as the gap between second place only and the 7th place team in the league in terms of runs scored.
And that 7th place team are these Grays, who have given the Big Train all they've wanted to in every single game that they've played.
This is a very good road team as well. The Grays are 8-3 on the road, tied for the best record in those games in the league. Pick off over at first base, and they got Logan Panett, caught him leaning, and another inning ends on the base paths, this time though for the Bethesda Big Train. The hosts trail by 2 after 5. Quincy Bell will tell you about the remainder of this ball game when we return.
Welcome back here from Shirley Povich Field. The Bethesda Big Train chased 2 runs as we head into the late innings. Only a 7-inning game for both of these 2 games of the doubleheader. And it's 5-3 Grays. They will look to add on as Couchy, Quarry, and Mosman step to the plate against Cole Ketchum. He looks in, taps the foot. Deep breath and fires to Couchy. Fastball fouled straight back.
Ketchum
One of those guys with a pretty regimented pre-pitch routine. Comes set and then heaves out a huge breath. You can see the chest rise and fall from all the way up here. We'll see him do it here.
There is the breath and the 0-1. And upstairs, breaking ball to Cauchy.
But the pre-pitch routine is all about what makes you feel most mentally ready to throw your best pitch, and that's what works for Ketchum.
1-1. Popped up high in the air on the infield. Some more sun for the big train to deal with. Panette calls everyone off from the third base spot and makes the catch on the mound for the first out.
Talking about the different looks sun-wise that these morning games provide. So far, it's been the difference in the game where the morning sun has fallen. Parker Corbin losing a pop-up back in the fourth, causing 2 runs to score, and now the Grays' lead is 2.
There's been some pretty heavy cloud cover that has come from the west. So that fly ball a little easier for Panette to handle as the one Corbin had earlier. Upstairs slider to Mark Quarry falls in for a strike.
There's no rain in the forecast today, but there is, at least by my radar, a chance of rain for each of the next 9 days.
Don't say things like that. There was a whole week of rainouts earlier in the season, and that was not fun. And that is part of the reason we're having a doubleheader today.
Yep.
And with the playoffs coming up, we cannot deal with 9 straight days of rain. That is something I don't even want to think about. 1-1 grounded slowly to third. Panette up with a throw over to first. A nice scoop by Wesley, and the throw in time to beat Mark Quarry to the bag.
And that's a really tough play for Wesley as well. Good work by Panette, too, getting the throw over there quickly. Left it a bit low, of course. But that one also scoots off the lip of the grass towards Wesley, so he has to keep the glove low. Textbook. That's what you're supposed to do with the scoop. You start from the bottom and come up. And that's what Wesley did. Didn't pull up too early. Didn't, backtrack at all. Just worked his hand through the ball and came up with it to steal an out for the big train.
Sam Mosman, who got his first hit of the season in his last at-bat, steps in, ducks and covers at an upstairs slider from Ketchum. First hit in only his third plate appearance. But swinging a hot bat, later came around to score on that Parker Corbin air back in the fourth. 1-0, fouls it off maybe the hand of Jacob Hawk. He pops up and will walk around for a bit. I think that was the throwing hand. I think it maybe caught his thumb.
He stretches out that arm a little bit, but I think the sun will fall out of the sky and the oceans will freeze over before you see a catcher say, "Take me out of the game."
Absolutely not. Hawk doing the catching duties for this game. In all likelihood, we'll see Dylan Murphy behind the plate for the second game. But there is still business to attend to as the big train trail 2 runs in the 6th. Ketchum looking for a 1-2-3 frame. Comes back to the slider, but misses inside to Mosman.
Good take by Mosman. That's a pitch that looks for all the world like it's going to break in the front door and just kind of held off, but so did Mosman, and he takes ball 2.
2-1 from the Ole Miss Rebel, Cole Ketchum. A sizzling fastball that misses inside to Mosman.
Ketchum hasn't had great command of the off speed, which has led him to use the fastball heavy. Kind of, I think they're overthrowing a bit and losing it to the arm side.
3-1. Fastball just misses outside Mosman. Some great plate discipline, draws the walk.
Walking the 8-hole hitter, not ideal, but the only thing that would make it worse is failing to retire the 9-hole hitter, Aiden Ellis, who has struggled mightily this year. He's walked today, which led to that fateful error back in the 4th.
Yeah, you don't want Sung to get in at bat with runners on, like we've mentioned earlier in this game. It was Sung who hit the pop-up that Corbin eventually dropped. But you'd like to see this inning end with the 9-hitter up. First pitch from Ketchum. Chops slowly to the opposite side. Martinez avoids Panette, who makes the flip over to second. The big train playing a very big shift on the lefty. Hit it the other way, but Panette, a nice easy scoop and flips over for the third out. We head to the bottom of the sixth. Big train still chasing 2 runs. Big Train only have 6 outs to play with as they look to come back in this one. Down 5-3 in the bottom half of the 6th, and it's the bottom of the order due up. Martinez, Corbin, and Hawk, 7, 8, 9, set to come to the plate. Jackson, for a team that's been struggling in this game to hit the ball, only 4 hits, what do you need to see out of the bottom of the order to get some runners on?
I need to see attacking early in the count, get after the pitch. I mean, John Martinez 0 for in his last 5. But
well, here's a bunt. Off the mound is Bergen. Throw to first, not in time to get Martinez. The throw was not on line, but Martinez was going to beat that out anyway. So instead of some first pitch swinging, a first pitch bunt shown by Martinez. Maybe that's what they need to get back in this one.
And Martinez was 0 for his last 16 coming into that plate appearance, bunted it down the line, picture perfect, and breaks out of the skid. Huge play, but you have to give credit also to Wolpert at first base, makes a diving pick going to the ground to keep Martinez at first. Could be a big play in this game when you look back at it.
First pitch to Parker Corbin, a fastball upstairs. Yeah, if that ball gets past him, it can go all the way down the line and right. You could see Martinez standing at third right now. Corbin has 2 walks today. Pick off at first, Martinez back. Made a very costly error back in the 4th inning. A pop-up high on the infield, lost the ball on the sun, and it hit off his mitt. He sits as the tying run and would love nothing more than a big hit to get the big train back in this one. 1-0, takes a fastball high.
It's a great chance to atone for Parker Corbin and break out of his own slump. He is hitless in each of his last 3 games played. John Martinez, as mentioned, just snapped a 5-game hitless streak.
2-0 from Alex Bergen. Another fastball misses upstairs.
But Corbin still has been productive in a sense because he has such a good eye, such a patient approach at the plate that he walks a ton. Has 2 already today.
3-0. Content to let the fastball go by him. Definitely a spot where you're taking 3-0. We know Peyton Steele likes to swing 3-0, hit a ball just in front of the wall on 3-0 earlier in this game. But as the tying run, your primary goal has to just be get on base. 3-1, Corbin takes another fastball high, and he has his 3rd walk of the day.
A little derisory flip of the bat over to his dugout. I'm sure he wants a pitch to hit, but he'll take being on 3 of 3 times and giving a chance to his fellow Terrapin, Jacob Hawk.
2 Maryland teammates make up 8 and 9 in this batting order. Jacob Hawk does have 1 home run on the year, a 2-run shot earlier this week on Monday at the Metro Soco Braves. A home run would give the big train the lead.
And Hawk a stat that means absolutely nothing to any of you, but a little bit to us in the booth. He's the only home run that's come when I was doing play-by-play. The other 11 have belonged to Quincy and Eliav.
I've been pretty spoiled when it comes to home runs. I got to call Panette's game-tying home run, the grand slam on opening day against these Grays. I got to call Skoronsky's go-ahead home run in the 10th of that same game in Metro South County. So I was very glad when you got to get one for Jacob Hawk.
Hawk pummeled that ball, got a fastball up, and hit it about 370. Just a high-arcing, towering fly in Laurel Hill, Virginia. If you can do the same here, I mean, it's easily gone, even at Shirley Povich, which is a bit deeper than the South County field, would still clear the fence by about 30 feet. But if you can get a hold of one, there's a chance for the Big Train to turn this game around just like that.
Alex Bergen just got some words of encouragement from his head coach and from his infield. The first baseman, Wolper, playing very far in, anticipating a bunt from Hawk, and Hawk squares, but Bergen throws a pickoff at second to Martinez, and now Hawk has shown his hand. The third baseman, Ed Inizio, now creeps in a little bit as well.
It's a pure sacrifice situation he's showing early.
First baseman crashing. Hawk pops up the bunt and fouls it into the net.
And that's exactly what you're taught to do as a pitcher. You're supposed to throw at the inner part of the bat, try and jam them almost, because that's what makes it the most hard to bunt. But you're still throwing in and around the zone, so you're not giving away a ball either.
Martinez on second has some decent wheels. 5 stolen bases on the year. Hawk gets the bunt down on the third base side. Bergen throws to third, and the ball gets away. Martinez is around third. He will score. Corbin just getting to third. Galvin Morris will hold him there. Hawk gets to second on the air, and now the tying run sits just 90 feet away.
Not a fantastic bunt from Hawk, but gets it down. And when you get a bunt down, sometimes good things happen. Bergen rushes himself coming off the mound, has a real chance to retire Martinez at third, but throws it away. There will be some chatter amongst the umpires, I believe, about potential runner interference on Martinez because he and Adenizio tangled after he rounded the base.
Yeah, when Martinez got up, he had to move around Ed Inizio, who was just standing after going to a knee to try to keep that ball in front of him. I don't think we'll see any changes due to that. I don't think that really affected the outcome of the play. I think any way you slice it, Hawk standing on second and Corbin standing at third.
We'll see what the umpires conclude after their powwow ends. Conclave of men in black continuing for quite a while. This is an impactful call in this game.
We'll see what they say. And head coach Sal Colangelo will be out of the dugout, and he'll ask for a confirmation about what's happening.
And it might have also been about the ground rules of the ball going near the tarp. But at the end of the day, it looks like the situation is right where we left it. Runners at second and third, nobody out.
And the infield is in for the Grays. Trying to cut down the tying run at home if they can. Jacob Hawk almost halfway down the line at second with the infield playing in. First pitch to Peltier, a front hip slider for strike one.
The DC Grays have the second lowest fielding percentage in the Cal Ripken League, and that's come to the fore today. 2 errors, both costly. Only one of the 4 runs by the Big Train has been earned.
0-1. Peltier watches a fastball for strike 2. And those are 2 very good pitches from Bergen, getting ahead of Peltier. You do have the base open, but you'd like to get an out, particularly of the strikeout variety if you can. So a great job to get ahead in this at-bat. 0-2. Slider down and away. Ellis, a nice pick from him. Corbin does not have the most speed at third, but you would not like to see this game tied via a pass ball. Alex Bergen takes a deep breath and comes set. 1-2 to Peltier. Chops slowly up the middle. Sung has it. looks and he throws to first, not in time to get Peltier. Corbin scores, and the Big Train have tied this game. It's still nobody out in the 6th.
Certainly a tough play, but a poor decision by Sung up the middle. He had Jacob Hawk dead to rights. He was about 10 feet off the bag. If Sung chases after him and tries to make a tag, Hawk is almost certainly out. Instead, tries to throw to first to get one of the speediest guys in the league. Alex Peltier has no chance. So instead of a tie game, 1 out, there's a tie game and nobody out.
Brennan Wright can now give the Big Train the lead. Middle infield for the Grays in double play depth. There goes Peltier, and they'll let him have it.
And now the absolute perfect guy at the plate for a runners at second and third, no out situation. Brennan Wright is a ball in play machine, has struck out just 9 times this year.
1-0. Fastball clips the corner for strike 1.
Takes a perfect pitch to get back in the count with Brennan Wright here, and Bergen delivers one.
And now with Peltier at second, the infield for the Grays moves back in. Right on a line to left. This ball is down. Hawk will score. Peltier will be held at third, and the Big Train have the lead back at 6-5.
And that is the first ball this inning that has left the infield of the bats' volition. Of course, the throw by Bergen went into left, but first hit of the non-infield variety, and it brings in the go-ahead run.
And now Peyton Steele hits with still nobody out in the inning, and already 3 runs have crossed. And now we're in a situation where the Big Train can win this one in the top half of the 7th. Could be the perfect time to bring Owen Stewart out of the bullpen. Hasn't pitched since Monday against the Braves.
The Big
He's
Train,
the guy you'd want for the save.
and the Big Train have played some incredibly tight games recently. 5 games in a row with a save, and that's believed to be the first time in franchise history that has happened.
Peyton Steele could make it to where the bottom half is not, or the top half is not a save situation if he can really get into one here. Steele leading the Cal Ripken League in doubles with 9. Also has a home run to his name. There goes Wright for second. Steele pops one in the air. Wright's going to have to get back. Moving over in foul territory is Adenizio, and he'll make the catch for the first out.
You were talking about how frustrating that sort of play is. It's a great chance for an excellent RBI man in Peyton Steele to pick one up, but gets a little over-anxious and pops one out to the third baseman in foul territory.
There is a lefty warming up in the Grays bullpen, and he will be making his way out of the bullpen. New pitcher for DC when we come back on the Big Train Baseball Network. New pitcher to tell you about for the DC Grays, a freshman left-hander, Anders Alatis, has appeared in 7 games, has thrown 11 1/3 innings, 9 strikeouts to 15 walks, but it's clear that DC wants the lefty to face Josh Skoronsky, who has struggled against same-handed pitching this year.
He's picked it up of late against the Southpaws, but overall not great numbers.
Misses just high with the slider.
Alondas,
You go.
Alondas, the lefty, has had some solid outings for the Grays this year, has 2 wins to his name, and hoping to retire his charge in Skoronsky.
1-0. There goes right for second. No throw will be made by the catcher, Ellis. He tried to throw a pump fake and get Peltier jumping off of third. But back-to-back stolen bases for Peltier and Wright in first and third situations. Now a base hit from Skoronsky could really break this game open. Infield moves back in. Alondas 2-0. Swing and a miss by Skoronsky.
It's a good pitch by Anders Alondas. Gets it on the inner half under the hands of Skoronsky. And given that he's coming from right behind him, that sort of pitch seems to bear in on you.
Alondas with a 3/4 arm release. This is inside to Skoronsky. The ball gets away. Peltier, blazing speed from third. He beat Alondas to the plate. It's 7-5.
That's a freebie for the big train. Skoronsky still a chance to drive in another, but allowing the lead to be extended to 2. This is just an ending of horrors for DC.
Already 4 runs in, and Brennan Wright 90 feet away from scoring a 5th. 3-1, Alondas misses outside. Skoronsky with the walk.
That's been what Alondas has struggled with this year, the walk. He's had decent results despite it because he has pretty solid stuff. Struck out 9 guys in his 11 1/3, but has walked more than the batter per inning, walks his first batter here, and now has to face some righties.
We'll see if Skoronsky tries to take second. The big train have already been moving in these first and third situations, which has forced the Grays infield to come in. Pick off over to first, Skoronsky back.
Wesley, not exactly a lefty masher, actually hits a little better against righties in his smaller sample size. 7 for 24 against Southpaws.
Still a very solid average. Alondas fires. Wesley takes outside. One-0. Alondas looks in, set. Right at third, Skoronsky at first. Wesley at the plate. Kicking the fire. Wesley on the ground is short. Sung has to go to second, relay to first, not in time. Wesley beats it out. He'll get an RBI. The big train lead by 3.
A little State Farm for you there. Insurance run makes it a 3-run Bethesda lead. A bit safer, and maybe even with another you can escape the run of saves. Finally a bit of a safer win, even though it won't feel like it. This was definitely a closer game than the final score may indicate if the big train put up a shutdown 7th.
So here is Panett. The big train have now batted around, grounded to third, just foul. You know Panett loves to hook things down the third base line.
He's a pull hitter extraordinaire, wants to get out in front of the baseball and drive it to his power side. Ground balls over the third base bag, line drives into left field. Surprised to not see the left fielder shading him a bit more towards the line.
0-1. Alondas fires. On a ground to short, Sung up with it. He will go the long way to first this time and in time to get Panett, but not before 5 runs come across in the inning for the big train. They'll look for the save in the top of the 7th. So, barring a subpar outing from Cole Ketchum, the big train will not look to make their streak of saves 5 in a row. They've had 4 straight games with a save, but if Ketchum could finish out this inning, Jackson, he would get a win.
That he would, and a well-deserved one. 2 solid innings so far. He's kept the big train in the game and now can slam the door.
Has at the top of the order to face for the Grays. Sung will lead things off. Takes a fastball at the knees for strike 1.
Ketchum acting as his own closer here because you do trust him in high leverage situations. When he's in the zone, his stuff dominates hitters.
It would also allow the big train to have more arms at their disposal in game 2. Popped up high in the air. Shallow center. Martinez ranging back, but Peltier calls him off and makes the catch.
Ryan Sung has been handcuffed by Big Train pitching today. Another pop-up. He's 0 for 4 with 3 pop-ups, one of them dropped, of course, and a strikeout.
Yeah, for a guy with a 477 on base, you can neutralize him. It's going to be a good day at the office for your pitching staff. Here's Ed Inizio, also has had a quiet day. A walk was later picked off after the walk. Also a strikeout and a line out for him. First pitch from Ketchum. Curveball misses high.
Ketchum has thrown 33 pitches through his 2 1/3, 20 of them for strikes.
One-0. Fastball at the letters for a strike.
Owen Stewart was moving around out there in the pen, doing some light band work. Hopefully that's all he needs to, and he can sit back down and enjoy a Big Train victory.
1-1. Fouled straight back.
That's something I like about Sal Colangelo. He's always having guys ready as a precaution. He's never behind the times when it comes to being able to put a guy in the game. And Stewart's ready to go in case there's trouble, but you obviously hope there won't be.
Well, there was trouble last night. Jake Titus entered with a 7-run lead. It later became a 2-run game, and Tyler Brashear was out in the bullpen warming. He got the final out to get the save.
You prepare for the worst and expect the best. That's what Sal Colangelo and his cadre of coaches do, and it's led to league-leading 18-6 record.
2 outs away from win number 19. 2-2 from Ketchum to Ed Inizio. Lined in the air towards center. Peltier. A quick beat on it. His second put out of the inning. And the big train 1 out away from that 19th win.
And Cole Ketchum, in an oddity for him, has not struck out a batter today, but has also only walked 1, which is a good sign for him. You'll absolutely take that sort of line. It means he's filling up the zone, and his stuff, even when hitters put a bat on it, it's hard to square.
Sung and Ed Inizio at the top of this Gray lineup. A combined 0 for 7 with just 1 walk, and Ed Inizio was picked off after that walk. It's up to Andy Rivera to extend this game, and he will. He grounds a sharp ground ball into left for a base hit. His 3rd single of the day.
Rivera swinging a good bat today. Got caught stealing in the 5th to end a rally, but that's about the only bad thing you can say about him today. He's looked good at the dish.
And it's now, when you look back at those 3 innings, that the Grays ended on the base paths with a little more disgust if you're a Grays fan.
Absolutely. They really could have had more. Only 4 left on bases, but the actual opportunities they've had paint a different story.
Here's Tanner Wolpert, who hits from the left side against Ketchum. Takes a fastball high. He has a double and a single today, and then waiting on deck is Tyler Wiltsey, who had the home run back in the 4th.
For all the struggles with the 1st and 2nd hitters in this lineup, the 3-4-5 has been darn good.
A combined 5-6 hits after the single and a home run for them today. Fastball taken on the outer half at the letters for strike 1 to Wolpert. Grays need some 2-out magic to force this game into the bottom half. Ketchum's 1-1. Another fastball, this time just upstairs. 3 elevated fastballs to Wolpert in this at-bat.
There's a clear approach from Ketchum and Hawk facing the cleanup hitter here. And the fastball has worked today for Ketchum. It's been in the zone. It's gotten lazy flies and groundouts. Might return to it here still.
2-1. He does. This one misses.
The fastball certainly a plus pitch. And that's, I think, one of the good signs to me about Ketchum is he certainly did not have the breaker today, was not at his best with that pitch, but able to survive on the strength of the fastball and his location.
3-1 to Tanner Wolpert. Misses high, and the tying run will step to the plate for the Grays.
There's now throwing in the Big Train bullpen, almost certainly Owen Stewart. Again, Ketchum, you want him to finish this off. You want to save Stewart for the nightcap if he's even needed for that. Ketchum having a good day through 2 2/3, and then a single by Andy Rivera breathes some life into what has become a stagnant Grays offense.
Jacob Hawk looks to settle down his pitcher. Gives him some words of encouragement. Wiltsey with his first home run of the year, the second home run of the season for the Grays, back in the 4th. And a home run right now would tie the game. With 2 runners on, the Big Train can take it out at the easiest base if there is a ground ball. Ketchum set. Fires to Wiltsey. Swings at the first pitch and pops one high in the air, foul out of play.
Cole Ketchum is just letting it rip at the top of the zone to these guys right now. My best against your best. Catch up to this fastball at the letters. And so far, not many have been able to do it when he is putting it in the zone.
0-1. Deep breath from Ketchum. Rears and fires. Fastball at the letters for strike 2.
Just living right there over and over again. Probably, if I had to bet, the exact same pitch is coming. Just gambling against Tyler Wiltsey that he can't catch up to the heater at 90.
0-2. Ketchum set. Another deep breath as always. And the fire. Grounded over to short. Martinez flips to second. Corbin leaps. Did he fall on the bag? Yes, he did. Blow the whistle and sound the horn. That's a Big Train winner.
And almost the reverse of last night. Going into the 6th inning, they trailed by 5-3. Things looked sort of bleak, and then they just made things happen. A leadoff bunt single by Martinez starts the locomotive a-moving. 5 runs in the inning, and then Cole Ketchum strands 2 guys. A very nice play to finish it. A hard bouncer over to John Martinez. Shovels over to Corbin, who atones for his earlier error with a lovely leaping play to end this ball game.
8 runs on 7 hits, 1 error for the Big Train. 5 runs on 9 hits, 2 errors for the Grays. This game took 2 hours and 18 minutes to conclude. Cole Ketchum will get the win. Alex Bergen will get the loss. No save, but still a Big Train winner. They look for win number 20 in about 30 minutes here from Povich. Jackson, any final words?
Just want to see the same sort of offensive output in game 2, but tack on a couple extra base hits, because today was a scrappy day for the Big Train bats. They made it happen in the end, but it took some doing. Just show that same energy, but a couple extra bigger swings, and it'll be in good shape for a potential sweep. Their 3rd doubleheader sweep of the year is what they're looking for.
For our producer, Gibson Hurt, for my color man, Jackson Corcoran, for myself, Quincy Bell, thank you to everyone who helps make this product run. It'll be myself and Elliot for game number 2. We hope to see you there.